Good evening, Mananda. We welcome you all for today's program, International Seminar on Urban Development, Town Planning, Towns and Cities Development, Media, Civil Societies, Unity, Savings, Information, Health, Environment, Well-being and Sustainable Development, 2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Today, on the occasion of World Cities Day, we are commemorating World Cities Day on 31st October with the theme Better City, Better Future. So financing a sustainable urban future for all, well-planned responsibility, and based on sound but not necessarily exhaustive cost-benefit analysis, and when supported by adequate regulations, the financing and development of infrastructure can be used as an engine for development of institutions, policies, and capacities at all levels and across all sectors of governance. To this end, the mandates of all levels and sectors of government should be clear and without gaps or overlaps. All relevant levels and sectors of government must be involved in making decisions on investment instead of only those involved in collecting taxes and other revenues. It is crucial to improve the effectiveness of managing urban development through better collaboration between different levels and sectors of government. Furthermore, the success of efforts to decentralize responsibilities to subnational levels is highly dependent on existing government systems and traditions, even if they are supported by fiscal devolution and authority of sub-sovereign borrowing. Urban planning is crucial to prepare for the orderly expansion of cities, to guide investment, prepare subdivision of land and intellectual skeletal infrastructure before building. Retrofitting informally built areas is complex and much more expensive. So responding to the surge in urban population seems to result in either the time-consuming process of building the capabilities to harmonize goals and collaborate effectively, or tendency to address the urgency by developing infrastructure without any consideration of the former. However, infrastructure development cannot be put on hold while perfect policies and institutions are put in place. These ends need not be mutually exclusive. Investment in urban development does not have to be within or withheld until fully capable institutions are in place. Nor do government need to resort to non-invasive planning and building of urban infrastructure, regardless of institutions and policies. So we are encouraging national governments, local authorities, the private sector, and other urban practitioners to mark the day by organizing events through workshops, webinars, panel discussions, interviews, and so on. So the United Nations General Assembly designated 31st as World Cities Day by its resolution 68 by 239. The day is expected to greatly promote the international community's interest in global urbanization, push toward cooperation among countries in meeting opportunities, addressing challenges of urbanization, and contributing to sustainable urban development around the world. Utilization provides the potential for new forms of social inclusion, including greater equality, access to services and new opportunities, and engagement and mobilization that reflects the diversity of cities, countries, and the globe. Yet too often this is not the shape of urban development. Inequality and exclusion abound, often at rates greater than the national average of the expense of sustainable development that delivers for all. Urban October was launched by UN Habitat in 2014 to emphasize the world urban challenges and engage the international community towards the new urban agenda. Sustainable Development Goal 11, which formulates the ambition to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, underlying the relevance of UN Habitat's mission. Inequalities in cities having grown since 1980, the world's largest cities are also often the most unequal, and this year's theme is embraced by the action and implementation of new urban agenda, which is putting the topic of inclusive cities as one of the main pillars for the urban shift. In October 2016, the Habitat 3 conference held in Quito adopted a new framework which will set the world on a course towards sustainable urban development by rethinking how cities are planned, managed, and inhabited. The new urban agenda will set the pace on how to deal with challenges of urbanization in the next 2 decades and is seen as an extension of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development agreed on by the 193 member states of the UN in September 2015. Cities should be encouraged to innovate and experiment and also to learn from one another in order to hasten this transition, for instance, through twin town initiatives or city networks. Moreover, the report says it will be necessary to replace a competitive cities governance approach to urban economies with a well-grounded cities approach that serves the interest of all citizens. Until 2009, more people lived in rural than in urban areas. Today, around 55% of the world's population live in towns and cities, with the level of urbanization projected to reach almost 70% by 2050. Much of the growth in urban populations will take place in Asia and Africa, especially in China and India and Nigeria, where the fertility rates remain high. So, Urban October is an opportunity for everyone to be part of the conversation about the challenges and opportunities created by the fast rate of change in our cities and towns. Each October, everyone interested in sustainable urbanization, from national and local governments to universities, NGOs, and communities, is encouraged to hold on or participate in events, activities, discussions. The month begins with World Habitat Day on the first Monday of the month and ends with World Cities Day on 31st October. Activities take place on those specific days or at any time during the month. The UN Habitat Scroll of Honor Award is one of the highlights of the World Habitat Global Observance. The award, a plaque engraved with the name of the winner, is presented to the select winners during the global observance. By engaging all stakeholders, cities can harness the transformational change and ensure better life for all in an urbanizing world. Let's watch a short video.
Dünyamızın acil çözüm bekleyen en önemli sorunlarından birisi de giderek hızlanan kentleşmenin eşitsizlikleri beraberinde getirmesi olarak karşımıza çıkıyor. Küreselleşen dünyadaki her sorun gibi sağlıksız kentleşme de ülke sınırlarını aşıyor. Dolayısıyla çözüm üretebilmek için öncelikle uluslararası işbirliğini geliştirmek gerekiyor. Bu amaçla 31 Ekim tarihinde İstanbul'da gerçekleştirilecek Dünya Şehirler Günü toplantısına Türkiye olarak ev sahipliği yapmaktan mutluluk duyuyorum. Her sorunun çözüm potansiyelini bünyesinde barındırdığından hareketle Üsküdar'daki toplantıların katılımcı ilerleme ve kentsel kalkınmaya büyük katkı sağlayacağına inanıyorum. Birleşmiş Milletler Sürdürülebilir Kalkınma Hedefleri rehberliğinde kimsenin geride kalmadığı güvenli ve kapsayıcı yeni bir kent kimliği inşa etme yolunda önemli yaklaşımlar geliştirileceğinden şüphe etmiyorum. Gelecek 20 yıla ışık tutacak yeni kentsel gündemin kadim bir şehirde belirlenecek olmasını son derece anlamlı buluyorum. Toplantıyı organize eden Birleşmiş Milletler Habitat İcra Direktörü Maymuna Hanım'a, Çevre, Şehircilik ve İklim Değişikliği Bakanlığımıza, Üsküdar Belediyesi'ne ve Türkiye Belediyeler Birliği'ne şükranlarımı sunuyorum. İstanbul buluşması akabinde Sıfır Atık Danışma Kurulu ile ilk yüz yüze toplantımızı 1 Kasım tarihinde gerçekleştirmemize de vesile oluyor. Sıfır atık felsefesinin yaygınlaşmasının ekonomiden çevre krizlerine dek pek çok küresel sorunda çözümün anahtarı olduğunu düşünüyorum. Birleşmiş Milletler Habitat bünyesinde atıksız şehirler hedefine doğru uzun soluklu bir yol arkadaşlığının istikrarlı adımlarını atmayı heyecanla bekliyorum. Daha yaşanabilir bir dünya için özveriyle çalışan değerli misafirlerimizi İstanbul Üsküdar'da ağırlayacak olmaktan memnuniyet duyuyor. Programların şimdiden hayırlara vesile olmasını diliyorum.
So with this, we shall stop the commemoration and we'll move on with the presentation. And after that, we will carry forward the further proceedings. The registration form has been already shared in the chat box. Those who have not yet registered can use the form in the chat box. At the same time, the registration form is also available in the Zoom platform in the form of polls. You may fill any one of the registration form. Preferably try filling the Zoom registration form. So this registration form in the chat box is intended for those who are registering before the event or immediately after the closure of event, in case if they do not do so. So now we have session by Sri Virendra Kumar Thakurji. He is RTA resource person and also an advocate, and also he is an assistant professor, computer science engineering in Kovid Ballapant Institute of Engineering and Technology, Uttarakhand. And sir has been very much actively contributing to this entire international webinar series, which commemorates Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series and also India's G20 presidency series and also United Nations Sustainable Development series, which have been being organized from a couple of years now. So we welcome you, sir, for your presentation. Virendra Kumarji would be presenting on Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. And also after this, he would be taking up one more presentation on prevention of nuclear conflicts that we have been celebrating recently. So Virendra Kumarji, you can unmute yourself, start your video and presentation. Virendra Kumarji, are you able to share your screen? Okay. Your video is not visible clearly. Your screen is visible. PPT is visible, sir, but your video, you are muted. Both the IDs have been enabled, sir.
Yes, now I am able to. Can you hear me, sir? There is echo. I will.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So that's fine.
You need to adjust your camera and share your view.
Yes. Okay. I am enabling my camera. My camera is already on, but it's not.
Now, after this, you can do your second presentation.
I'll make a. Okay. Second one is on ARM-SAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have informed us earlier. So.
Yes. So yes, I am. So are you able to hear me, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir. Your voice
Okay.
is on.
Okay. So now I'll share my screen from laptop. I'm using two devices actually. There was some problem with my laptop audio. So I have corrected that and yes, okay. I'm sharing my screen again. It should be visible to you after some network delay.
Yeah,
Is
it
it clear,
is
sir?
visible, sir, now.
Okay, sure. Yes, I hope you can see me also. Yes, on my other device. Okay, sir. So today we shall see one important regulation that is related to real estates. This is called the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, RERA. Actually, it is Real Estate Regulatory Authority. It is known by RERA, but the act is called Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. Till this time, there was no such such legislation in India, and all things were regulated through regular Contract Act, that is the Indian Contract Act 1872. But after this Contract Act has been changed, and now we have this another legislation which is dedicated only to real estate development and urban planning, because there are many cases of irregular practices, cheating, fraud, and therefore some offenses have also been defined, and therefore this is a minor criminal law. So let us see the provisions of this. We shall see this act briefly, not all sections. So the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 is an act of the Parliament of India which seeks to protect home buyers as well as help boost investments in the real estate industry. So for development of real estate, builders play a very important role, and therefore to regulate the builders, this dedicated act is there. The act establishes a Real Estate Regulatory Authority, RERA. Above that, there is also appellate tribunal. So these are established in each state for regulation of the real estate sector, and also acts as an adjudicating body for speedy dispute resolution. That means complaint can be filed with RERA, and RERA adjudicates those complaints. And above that, there is of course appellate tribunal, and then we have High Court and Supreme Court. The bill was passed by the Rajya Sabha on 10th March 2016 and by the Lok Sabha on 15 March 2016. That came into force on 1st May 2016 with 61 of 92 sections notified. And then the remaining provisions came into force on 1st May 2017. So it came into stage on, existence on 2 different dates. 1st May 2016 and after 1 year exactly on 1st May 2017. The central and state governments are liable to notify the rules under the Act within a statutory period of 6 months. So within 6 months, these rules have been notified. Some states have notified, some other states are yet to notify. We shall see the progress in different states. Now 28 states and 8 union territories, but the dates are slightly different, and they have formed their own rules also under the rule making power given to them under this act. So that is the introduction. Next we see the history of this act. Earlier this bill was introduced in Parliament in 2019. It's the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, RERA bill. In December 2015, the Union Cabinet of India had approved 20 major amendments to the bill based on the recommendations of the Rajya Sabha committee that examined the bill. So some amendments were suggested because there are 2 houses of legislature. The bill had been referred to a selection committee which had given its report in July 2015. So it took about 2 years, and then the bill that was introduced in 2013 after referring recommendations came. However, Congress, Left and AIDMK had expressed their reservations on the report through dissent notes. So there were some political differences among different parties, and therefore after this bill took some time, the Rajya Sabha approved the bill on 10th March 2016 and the Lok Sabha approved it on 15th March 2016. So after the new Lok Sabha came into being in 2014, so this bill was reintroduced and then it was passed by both the houses. This is briefly the legislative history. Subsequently, by the powers vested by Section 1 of the RERA Act, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, with notification SO 1544 English dated extraordinary dated 26/4/2016 notified 61 sections out of 92 sections on 1st May of 2016, and wide notification SO 1216 extraordinary dated 19/4/2017 notified the remaining 31 sections. So it came into being in two different stages, as we have seen. Now the structure, it is a very big act. We shall not go into all details, but just to introduce this topic of builders and urban planning, there is very important legislation in India, because for the first time such type of legislation has been enacted apart from the routine Contracts Act. So the RERA Act 2016 has been divided into 10 chapters, which is further categorized into 92 sections. We shall not go into details section by section, but we shall see just broad provisions of this. The Act starts with the preamble, provides title, extent and commencement, registration of real estate projects. There is one full chapter of this for registration of real estate agents, projects and real estate agents. We call them builders. And then functions and duties of promoter, then rights and duties of allottees. There is a separate chapter on this, having only one section. About real estate regulatory authority, that is RERA. Above that there is, and again there is Central Advisory Council, that is another body that came into being. And then we have Appellate Tribunal, that is Real Estate Appellate Tribunal. Special courts that try only says cases related to real estate agreements. Various offences, there is separate chapter on that. Penalties and adjudication. So there is chapter on offences, penalties and adjudication. And then about finances, accounts, audits. So again, there is one chapter on that and reports. And lastly, we have other miscellaneous provisions. So these are the 10 chapters and they're divided into 92 sections. The arrangement of the Act is like this. The structure is Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. First chapter is preliminary, containing 2 sections. Then we have second chapter that is on registration of real estate project and real estate agents. So there we have sections 3 to 10. Then we have function and duties of promoter. These are given in sections 11 to 18. Then we have rights and duties of allottees. That is in section 19, only one section. Then the RERA, it is a detailed chapter, 21 sections. So the Real Estate Regulatory Authority 20 to 40. There are not much amendments because bill has been made an act only recently, 7 years before. Central Advisory Council has been established. There are 2 sections, that is 41 and 42 related to that. Then above RERA, there is Real Estate Appellate Tribunal where the orders of RERA can be challenged. So that is in 43 to 58. So 16 sections are there. Then there is separate chapter on offences, penalties and adjudication, 59 to 72. So in case of some violation of terms of agreement by the builders, some penalty provisions have been made. And then we have finance, accounts, audit and reports to be given by RERA, 73 to 78. And lastly, there is miscellaneous chapter containing section 79 to 92. This is broadly the structure of the Act. Next we see the principal provisions. So there is first the definition clause in section 2. Various definitions are given. So it enlists the meaning of multiple terms and definitions used throughout this Act. So the definitions are of advertisement, allottee, apartment, carpet area, common areas, interest, planning area, promoter, prospectus, real estate project, sanctioned plan and saving clause. So these are the definitions that have been defined in this section. First, there are some provisions that are in a separate chapter, that is chapter 2. So registration of real estate project and real estate agents. So every building project or real estate project is registered. That enlists the registration, say, policy of a real estate project and real estate agent and related, say, provision under section 3. Subsection 1 of section 3 of the Act makes it mandatory for all real estate projects to register with RERA. So this registration with RERA is mandatory for launching a project to provide greater transparency in project marketing and execution. That is mainly to protect the public from unfair practices. So for project marketing and execution, this registration with RERA is a must for all builders. Then for ongoing projects which have not received a completion certificate on the date of commencement of the act, will have to get registration, seek registration within 3 months. So there was this time period was given that ongoing projects can be registered within 3 months. Each state RERA, because there are RERA in every state, and we have 36 RERAs, including union territories. So every state RERA must either approve or reject the application for registration within 30 days from the date of application submitted by the promoter. Then upon successful registration, the promoter of the real estate project will be provided with a registration number, a login ID. That means everything is online. And a password to fill up the essential details on the website of the state RERA. So these promoters have to fill in all the details online because this is an act of 2016. So the modernization has been done. Then if the promoter fails to register, he shall be liable to pay a penalty that may extend up to a penalty of 10% of the estimated project cost. So not a criminal fine, but it is a civil penalty, and it is 10% of the cost, project cost. Furthermore, if he does not comply with the orders, directions, or decisions issued by the state RERA, he shall be punishable with imprisonment, which may extend up to 3 years, or with a fine which may extend up to a further 10% of the estimated cost of the project. Now, this is a minor criminal law projection, that is, there could be imprisonment up to 3 years or 10% of the project cost. The real estate agents who facilitate the selling or purchase of properties must take prior registration. Such agents will be issued a simple single registration number for each state or union territory, which must be quoted by the agent in every sale facilitated by him. So they have got registration number that is called registration with RERA. That single number is given and they have to quote in every agreement. If a real estate agent fails to register or contravene section 9, that is registration of real estate agent, and section 10, that is functions and duties of a real estate agent, he shall be liable to a penalty of rupees 10,000 payable every day during which such default continues. So it is a heavy penalty, 10,000 per day. The penalty may cumulatively extend up to 5% of the cost of the plot, apartment, or building, as the case may be, of the real estate project. So this penalty could be up to 5% of the project cost. Then the establishment of RERA and appellate tribunal. So two authorities are there. One is the RERA, which is the, we can say, special type of adjudication under this act. So these cases go to this, not under ordinary civil court. The establishment under section 20 and 43 of the act will help to establish state level real estate regulatory authorities. So after 2016, say by 2017, around 36, the dates are different. We shall see it state-wise, to regulate transactions related to both residential and commercial projects and ensure their timely completion and handover. Because time is very critical and the cost of building also escalates if there are delays in the project. And sometimes when the money has been given by the people who are expecting their homes or plots, and if there is some cheating or fraud done, then there was no, say, dedicated authority or remedy for that. So now this special act has been enacted. Above RERA, there is appellate tribunal. So appellate tribunals will now be required to adjudicate cases in 60 days at time bound. That means not like ordinary CPC, CRPC, as against the earlier provision of 90 days, and regulatory authorities to dispose of complaints in 60 days, while no time frame was indicated in the earlier bill. So in the previous bill, that is of 2013, no such provisions were there. But when the act was finally passed in 2016, so now there is time limit for this appellate tribunal 60 days, and for RERA again 60 days. That is, case first goes to RERA, then it goes to appellate tribunal. Then there is separate chapter on offences. So sections 59 to 70 of chapter 8 of the act provides the provisions regarding offences, penalties, and adjudication. We shall see briefly. There are 59, 60, and 62 of the act. They provide punishment to the promoters and real estate agents for non-registration under RERA. So non-registration is considered as an offense, penalty is there, and then penalty and imprisonment are there under other sections also. First, there is 59(1). promoter can be punished. So if promoter contravened section 3, the amount may extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of real estate project, and there is no, say, in such imprisonment, there is only fine. Under 59(2), so in subsection 2, if promoter not, again promoter can be punished, not follows the order, decisions or directions issued under subsection 1, amount as stated under subsection 1 plus amount which may further extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. The term of imprisonment may extend up to 3 years, either fine or imprisonment or both. Then we have section 60. So promoter can be punished if promoter provides false information under section 4. The amount may extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of real estate project. There is no imprisonment, only fine. Then we have section 62. So real estate agent, if any real estate agent fails to comply with sections 9 and 10 of the Act, so amount of rupees 10,000 each day, every day, it may extend up to 5% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. There is no imprisonment, only fine under 62. So these are the important provisions. Then we have 63. Promoter can be punished. So it can be, say, punished by real estate regulatory authority. Penalty for every day during which such default continues and may extend up to 5% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. There is no imprisonment, only fine. Because this RERA can't say give criminal punishment. For that there are another authority. Then 64, promoter. So again, real estate appellate tribunal has the authority for this. Penalty for every day during which such default continues and may extend up to 10% of the project cost, estimated cost of the real estate project. Term of imprisonment may extend up to 3 years, and either fine or imprisonment or both. So imprisonment can be given by appellate tribunal, not by RERA. So appellate tribunal is above RERA and they can provide this punishment. So under 64, this punishment up to 3 years can be there. 65, real estate agent can be punished. So real estate regulatory authority, penalty for every day during which the default continues and may extend up to 5% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. There is no imprisonment, only fine under this section. Then we have 66. So real estate agent. Here the appellate tribunal can give penalty for every day during which the default continues and may extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. Term or imprisonment may extend up to 1 year, either fine or imprisonment or both. So appellate tribunal can give imprisonment. Under 67, allottee can be punished. So there are some duties of allottee also that are given in a separate chapter. So RERA, penalty for every day during which the default continues, because they have to make the timely payments to the builder. Otherwise the project cannot continue. So if there is default on behalf of the allottee and may extend up to 5% of the estimated cost of the real estate project, there is no imprisonment, only fine for public who are signing contracts with builders. Under 68, allottee can be punished. So real estate appellate tribunal, penalty for every day during which the default continues and may extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of the real estate project. Term of imprisonment may extend up to 1 year in case of criminal offense, and either fine or imprisonment or both. So different types of offenses have been defined. There is also protection for the home buyers, because it is a big business in India and everybody needs home, at least one. And builders do this public service of providing homes for multiple people. So that prohibits unaccounted money from being pumped into the sector. And as of now, 70% of the money has to be deposited in bank accounts throughout checks compulsorily. So 70% has to be deposited in banks. That means just to discourage the use of cash, this type of, say, provision has been made to prohibit unaccounted money. A major benefit for consumers included in the Act is that builders will have to quote prices based on carpet area and not on super built up area. This is another important benefit. The quotation of prices will be based on carpet area and not on super built up area. The Act states that the carpet area include usable spaces like kitchen and toilets. Under RERA, it's mandatory for the builders to disclose the carpet area. So they have to mention specifically this carpet area. This is the protection for home buyers. Then the state regulations under RERA. Since all the states have been given some powers, so Section 84 of the Act provides that within 6 months of the Act being enforced, each state government shall make rules for carrying out the provisions of the Act. The state rules are to be notified by the state government. As late as 31st October 2016, central government released the RERA General Rule 2016 by notification by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, that is UPA. The rules so issued by the central government are applicable to the 5 union territories without legislature, because central government legislates for the UT also. That is Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep and Chandigarh. The rules have been issued under the prior release of draft for comments. That means the comments were invited from the stakeholders before releasing. As of 13 July 2019, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Sikkim, and Nagaland have not notified the rules. So even after this, some states were states, as we see further in the presentation. In the case of 5 northeastern states, the RERA Act is facing certain constitutional challenges, as the land in those states are community owned. So there are some litigation going on. West Bengal notified a similar law called the West Bengal Housing Industry Regulatory Act 2017, which came into effect from 1st June 2018. However, as of July 2019, many states have not implemented the law. It's under concurrently, that means central as well as state government have the powers. So both can legislate. So many states have not implemented the law and failed to notify permanent regulatory regulator, that is RERA, appellate authority, or a website, because there has to be a website also. A chart showing implementation status by different states as of July 2019 can be seen here. So these are the different dates. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, 31st October 2016. Andhra Pradesh, 8 October 2018. Arunachal Pradesh, not notified up to 2019. Assam, 2017. Bihar, 1st May 2017. 15 December 2017. Websites are also, different states have different websites for this, so that everything can be done online. Chandigarh, notified on 31st October 2016. Then Chhattisgarh, 26 April 2017. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, 31st October 2016. Daman and Diu, 31st October 2016. The rules are also been made by this, where the links are given in brackets. Delhi, notified on 24 November 2016. Goa, notified on 24 November 2017. Gujarat, notified on 29th October 2016. Haryana, notified on 27 July 2017. Himachal Pradesh on 20 September 2017. And say 9th October 2017, the website has been made. Jammu and Kashmir. Now the act has been made applicable to J&K also after 2019. Jharkhand, notified on 18th May 2017. Karnataka, notified on 10 July 2017. Kerala, notified on 18 June 2018. Then Lakshadweep, notified on 31st October 2016. Madhya Pradesh on 22nd October 2016. Maharashtra on 19 April 2017. Manipur, not notified up to 2019. Meghalaya, not notified. Mizoram, notified on 15 March 2019. Nagaland, not notified. Some litigation are going on in some these northeastern states. Odisha, because some provisions have been challenged as being unconstitutional. Nagaland, not notified. Odisha, notified on 25th February 2017. Puducherry, notified on 18 July 2017. And then Punjab, 3rd April 2018. These rules have been notified. And see 8 June 2017. Rajasthan, 1st May 2017. Sikkim, not notified. Tamil Nadu, notified on 22nd June 2017. Telangana, notified on 4th August 2017. Tripura, notified on 27 October 2017. And Uttar Pradesh, notified on 11 October 2016. Uttarakhand, notified on 28 April 2017. And West Bengal, not notified. They have their state act, as we have seen earlier. So different states have different progress, and act has been implemented all over India, barring some states where litigation is going on. So the arrangement of sections is like this. We shall not go into details, but I will just read out the names. There is under chapter 1, short title, extent and commencement and definition. It is a very big act. It's not possible within say short time. Under chapter 2, that is real estate, registration of real estate project and registration of real estate agents. Under section 3, you have prior registration of real estate project with real estate regulatory authority. So they have to register with RERA. Application for registration of real estate projects, then grant of registration, extension of registration, revocation of registration, or obligation of authority consequent upon lapse of or on revocation of registration, registration of real estate agents, and functions of real estate agents. So these are the sections. Then we have functions and duties of promoter. So 11 has functions and duties of promoter in chapter 3. Obligations of promoter regarding veracity of the advertisement of prospectus. So prospectus has to be published. There should not be false declarations, false promises. In 13, no deposit or advance to be taken by promoter without first entering into agreement for sale. And adherence to sanctioned plans and project specifications by the promoter. Obligations of promoter in case of transfer of a real estate project to a third party. Obligations of promoter regarding insurance of real estate project and transfer of title, return of amount and compensation. Under chapter 4, we have got single section, that is rights and duties of allottees. These are to be observed by the allottees under section 19. Chapter 5 is the real estate regulatory authority. So establishment and incorporation of RERA, section 20. Composition of authority, qualifications of chairperson and members of authority, term of office of chairperson and members, salary and allowances payable to chairperson and members, administrative powers of chairperson, removal of chairperson and members from office in certain circumstances, restrictions on chairperson or members on employment after cessation of office, officers and other employees of authority, meetings of authority, and vacancies, etc., not to invalidate proceeding of authority. Then filing of complaints with the authority or the adjudicating officer, functions of authority for promotion of real estate sector, advocacy and awareness measures, functions of authority, powers of authority to call for information, conduct investigations, power to issue interim orders, powers of authority to issue directions, powers of authority, and then rectification of orders, and recovery of interest or penalty or compensation, and enforcement of orders, etc. So they have got these powers of recovery of penalty or compensation and enforcement of orders. That means one need not go to civil court for this anymore. Then Central Advisory Council has been established. It has just advisory functions. So establishment of Central Advisory Council and functions of Central Advisory Council. So they provide advice to central government. Then we have appellate tribunal, which has got criminal powers also. That means cases need not go to ordinary magisterial courts. So there is establishment of real estate appellate tribunal, application for settlement of disputes and appeals to appellate tribunal. So orders of RERA can be challenged here. Composition of appellate tribunal, qualifications for appointment of chairperson and members, term of office of chairperson and members, salary and allowances payable to chairperson and members, removal of chairperson and member from office in certain circumstances, and restrictions on chairperson or judicial member or technical or administrative member on employment after cessation of office. Maximum punishment is 3 years, that is CJM first class. So we can say this is equivalent to court of CJM first class as compared to CRPC. Officers and other employees of appellate tribunal, vacancies, powers of tribunal, administrative powers of chairperson of appellate tribunal, vacancies, etc., not to invalidate proceeding of appellate tribunal, right to legal representation, and orders passed by appellate tribunal to be executable as a decree and appeal to High Court. So decisions of appellate tribunal can be challenged before the High Court, and above that Supreme Court is there, so constitutional courts are there. In chapter 8, there are offences, penalties and adjudication. So 59, there is punishment for non-registration under section 3. 60 has penalty for contravention of section 4. 61 has penalty for contravention of other provisions of this Act. 62 has penalty for non-registration and contravention under sections 9 and 10. 63 has penalty for failure to comply with orders of authority by promoter. 64 has penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by promoter. So if orders of appellate tribunal are not complied, penalty can be done by appellate tribunal itself. Case need not go to, we can say, section 10 of Contempt of Courts Act 1971. Penalty for failure to comply with orders of authority by real estate agent, that is in section 65. Then we have penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by real estate agent. 67 has penalty for failure to comply with orders of authority by allotee. 68 has penalty for failure to comply with orders of real appellate tribunal by allotee. 69 is offences by companies. 70 is compounding of offences. Then 71 has power to adjudicate. 72 has factors to be taken into account by the adjudicating officer. 73, this is in chapter 9. So there is a separate chapter on finance accounts, audits and reports of, say, RERA. So grants and loans by central government under section 73. Grants and loans by state government under 74 to state RERA. Constitution of fund. Then crediting sums realized by way of penalty to consolidated fund of India or state account. Then budgets, accounts and audit, and annual report, which are presented to the assembly. Then bar of jurisdiction, so ordinary civil courts are barred. Cognizance of offences, so since they have magisterial powers, that is CJM first class, equivalent to that by real estate appellate tribunal. Delegation, power of appropriate government to supersede authority. Appropriate means central government in case of central and state in case of state RERA. Powers of appropriate government to issue directions to authority and obtain reports and returns, and powers of appropriate government to make rules. The power to make regulations, laying of rules, members, etc. to public servants. That means their contempt can be prosecuted, and even the public servants can be prosecuted for corruption under IPC. Application of other laws not barred. Act to have overriding effect. Protection of action taken in good faith, and power to remove difficulties and repeal. So these are the 92 sections divided in 10 chapters under this act. So this was a brief introduction to Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. I'll stop sharing. Are there any questions on this? Yes, any questions?
Thank you, Virendra Kumarji. Sir, are you taking up second presentation?
I think there is one more presenter, so that presenter may present, and then I will take.
No, it's okay, sir. Actually,
Arms Act. If there is there some other presenter today, sir?
No, actually, you can continue with that presentation.
Okay. So that is on Arms Act. Actually, last week was disarmament week, and therefore, but since it was the day of Dashera, so on Dashera we do the puja of arms. And
Yeah.
yes.
But this is also very much relevant to cities development,
yes.
because the Hiroshima, Nagasaki cities have been bombed. So even that is also one kind of development issue.
Yes. Clearly.
You can go ahead, sir, with your presentation.
I'm opening my another presentation, and
Okay.
we shall see Arms Act in detail. I have opened it. I will start sharing that from laptop. Just a minute, I will take 1 or 2 minutes. Yes, the arms at 1959. I will start sharing from my laptop. Am I audible, sir? Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me, sir? I'm unmuted.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. My screen, I'm trying to share from this laptop. That is another device because I'm talking from mobile.
Okay.
I'm going to this one and green. Yes, I have got the share. Yes. I have shared. It will appear after network delay of few seconds. Yes, I hope now it's visible. Well, my screen is hanging. I'm trying to make it full screen if possible.
Yeah. PPT is visible, sir.
Okay. So, instead of that, maybe I'll try to drag the borders and make it. Okay. PPT is visible. I am able to see it on my second device.
Huh.
I hope I can continue.
Yes, sir. But the video is off. If you can switch on, fine. Otherwise,
Yes. Yes. I hope my video is on.
yeah. No video is also on.
Yes. Okay.
Please continue.
Okay. So let us see this arms at 1959. It is very important minor criminal law. I think my PowerPoint is hanging. Okay. Shall I close and open the presentation again? The PowerPoint presentation is hanging. Just 1 or 2 minutes. I'm trying to resolve the problem. Screen sharing has been stopped as the window has been closed. Okay, so PowerPoint I have stopped and again I'm opening it. Yes, now it's opening again. I'm now going to sharing button and trying to share this again. I'm stopping sharing and starting it the sharing again.
Is there any issue,
Yes.
sir?
Yes, now it has opened.
Okay.
Actually, the MS PowerPoint was hanging and therefore I restarted it. Now it's open. Now I'm sharing it again.
Okay.
Yes. Now I have got it. I have shared it. So after network delay of 5 to 6 seconds, it should appear. Can you see it, sir?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that technical glitch. Okay. Now this onset is very important. Generally, there are prosecutions under section 3, 4, 25, and you might have heard that some convictions are there under the Arms Act. So earlier we had another Arms Act of say 1878, and that was repealed, and this new act was enacted. So first we shall see the general arrangement, and then we shall go to this say section by section. So chapter 1 is preliminary, having 2 sections: short title, extent and commencement, and then there are definitions and interpretation. Then we have in the next one, chapter 2. Is it moving? Yes. So there is acquisition, possession, manufacture, sale, import, export, and transport of arms and ammunition. This act is of 1959 and has been amended from time to time. So there are, say, some offenses that are declared normally, say, without arms, without license, and these types of prosecutions are there. And we have seen that police books often the FIR under section 3 and 25 or 3, 4, 25. So what are these sections? So section 3 is about license for acquisition and possession of firearms and ammunition. 4 is for license for acquisition and possession of arms of specified description in certain cases. 5th is license for manufacture, sale, etc. of arms and ammunition. So even for manufacture and sale, because in India we do not have say private arms production, etc. But where private companies or small, say this done, there is a provision for licensing. Otherwise, generally for government purpose, we have ordinary factories. Then license for the, say, shortening of say guns or conversion of imitation firearms into firearms. So again, there has to be license. Then prohibition of acquisition or possession or of manufacture or sale of prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition. Then prohibition of sale or transfer of firearms not bearing identification marks. Then prohibition acquisition or possession of by or of sale or transfer to young person and certain other persons or firearms, etc. So age limit has been specified. License to import and export of arms. This regulates the trade, foreign trade, and power to prohibit, say, import or export of arms, etc., and power to restrict or prohibit transport of arms. This is a small act of 48 sections. Then we have chapter 3. I'm moving to the next slide. Now the procedure for licensing. So first there is under section 13, grant of licenses. 14 deals with refusal of licenses. In 15 we have duration and renewal of license. In 16 we have the fees, etc. for license. 17 has variation, suspension and revocation of licenses. And 18 is appeal against rejection of licenses. That is chapter 3. Then we move on to the next chapter, that is powers and procedure. So generally the DM has the powers for this, say, licensing and say other things. So there is powers to demand production of license, etc. Arrest of persons conveying arms, etc. under suspicious circumstances. Deposit of arms, etc. on say possession ceasing to be lawful during election times, or this, we see or ask them to deposit. Then search and seizure by magistrate. So magistrate has the power under section 22. Search of vessels, vehicles for arms, etc. 24 as seizure and detention under orders of the central government. 24A is prohibition as to possession of notes, etc. And then we have 26B, that is prohibition as to carrying of notified arms in or through other say places, public places. Some public places have been prohibited, that is arms can be carried in such places. In disturbed areas, so for disturbed areas and notified arms, there are separate sections, that is 24A, 24B. Then we move on to the next one. Sorry, it seems again it has hanged. Yes, it seems now it has appeared again. Yes. So it's moving. Well, we have seen about the first say 4 chapters. Then there is 5th chapter, that is related to offenses and penalties. Chapter section 25 is very important as it deals with this. So there is punishment for certain offences. It has got many different subsections. Then secret contraventions, that is punishable under 26, 26, sorry. 27 is punishment for using arms, etc. 28 is punishment for use and possession of firearms for imitation firearms in certain cases. Then there is punishment for knowingly purchasing arms, etc. from unlicensed person, or for delivering arms, etc. to person not entitled to possess the same. So that is prohibited under this section. Then punishment for, say, am I connected? Yes. Punishment for contravention of license or rule, that is under section 30. Then punishment for subsequent offences is in 31. Power to confiscate, that is 32. And offences by companies, that is punishable under 33. So that is the chapter related to penal punishments. Then miscellaneous section, the last chapter. So there are 46 sections in this, and section of central government for warehousing of arms, that is required. Criminal responsibility of persons in occupation of premises in certain cases. Information to be given regarding certain offences, that is duty under 36. Arrest or searches, arrest and searches, that is regulated under 37. For arms, there is separate procedure that overrides these provisions of CRPC. Offences to be cognizable. So all offences under this act are cognizable. There could be maximum up to life imprisonment as per the latest amendments made in 2019 to this act. Then provisions, say previous sanction of the district magistrate necessary in certain cases. Protection of action taken in good faith, and power to exempt, power to make census of firearms, and power to delegate, power to make rules, and act not to apply in certain cases. And then say repeal of the previous Arms Act, that is the Indian Arms Act, that is Act 11 of 1878. So these are the provisions. Now we see some of these provisions in detail. So it's an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to arms and ammunition, be it enacted by Parliament in the 10th year of the Republic of India as follows. So this act has been extended to Goa, Daman and Diu, and the Pondicherry, and brought into force in Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and then Sikkim. So now it's applicable all over India. So this act may be called the Arms Act 1959. It extends to the whole of India, and it shall come into force on such date. So it came into force on, say, 1st October 1962, as central government may by notification in the official Gazette appoint. Then there are some definitions and interpretation clause. Acquisition. So acquisition with its grammatical variations and cognate expressions includes hiring, borrowing, or accepting as a gift. Here we are concerned with arms. Then ammunition. Ammunition is defined here. So ammunition means ammunition for any firearm and includes rockets, bombs, grenades, shells, and other missiles. Article designated for torpedo service and submarine, say, mining. Other articles containing or designed to or accepted to contain explosive and, say, fulminating or fissionable material or noxious liquid, gas, or other such thing, whether capable of use with firearms or not. Here we are mainly concerned with arms. For explosive and explosive substances act, there are two different acts in India. So we are not dealing with those explosive and explosive substances. Here only with arms and ammunition. Charges for firearms and accessories for such charges, fuses and friction tubes, parts of and machinery for manufacturing ammunition, and such ingredients of ammunition as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify in this behalf. Then we have arm. Arm is defined as, it means articles of any description designed or adapted as weapons for offense or defense, and includes firearms, sharp-edged or other deadly weapons, and parts of and machinery for manufacturing arms, but does not include articles designed solely for domestic or agricultural uses, such as a lathi or an ordinary walking stick. So these are excluded from definition. And weapons incapable of being used otherwise than as toys or being converted into serviceable weapons. So toy arms have been excluded, and if they are incapable of being converted into serviceable weapons. Then district magistrate. So in relation to any area for which a commissioner of police has been appointed, means the commissioner of police. So we have got two different systems in India. Sometimes these IS officers are called collectors. In some states, they are called district magistrate because they have got some magisterial power under CRPC. So where there are commissioner of police, then there is collector, and commissioner of police has got the police powers, and collectors do only civil work. They are not concerned with police powers. But DM has police powers also. So different states have got different situation because law and order is considered state subject, and CRPC can be amended by states also. So where there is commissionerate system, DM is commissioner. Okay. So means the commissioner of police thereof, and includes any such deputy commissioner of police exercising jurisdiction over the whole or any part of such area as may be specified by the state government in this behalf in relation to such area or part. So either it is district magistrate, or where collectorate system is there, there is commissioner of police. Then we see firearms. It means arms of any description designed or adapted to discharge a projectile or projectiles of any kind by the action of any explosive or other forms of energy, and includes artillery, hand grenades, riot pistols, or weapons of any kind designed or adapted for the discharge of any noxious liquid, gas, or other such thing. Accessories for any such firearm designed or adapted to diminish any the noise or flash caused by the firing thereof, parts of and machinery for manufacturing firearms, and carriages, platforms, and appliances for mounting, transporting, and serving artillery. Then we have definition of license. So license means a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this Act and rules made thereunder, and includes a license issued in the electronic form. So now electronic licenses are also issued. Then licensing as per 2019 amendment. Licensing authority means an officer or authority empowered to grant or renew licenses under rules made under this Act and includes the government. That is the licensing authority. Generally, it's the DM. Magistrate means an executive magistrate under the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. So magistrate is not here judicial magistrate, but here it only includes only means the executive magistrate. Executive magistrate is a branch of executive. Judicial magistrate is a branch of judiciary. Prescribed means prescribed by rules made under this Act. And prohibited ammunition means any ammunition containing or designed or adapted to contain any noxious liquid, gas, or other such thing, and includes rockets, bombs, grenades, shells, missiles, articles designed or for torpedo service and submarine mining, and such other articles as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify in the to be prohibited ammunition. Then we have prohibited arms. It means firearms so designed or adapted that if a pressure is applied to the trigger, missiles continue to be discharged until pressure is removed from the trigger or the magazine containing the missiles is empty. Or weapons of any description designed or adopted for the discharge of any noxious liquid, gas, or other such thing, and includes artillery, anti-aircraft, and anti-tank firearms, and such other arms as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify to be prohibited arms. So there are prohibited arms. Then public servant, it has same meaning as under IPC section 21. Transfer with its grammatical variations and cognate expressions includes letting on hire, lending, giving, and parting with possession of arms. Then for the purposes of this Act, this is the interpretation clause. The length of the barrel of a firearm shall be measured from the muzzle to the point at which the charge is exploded on firing. Any reference in this Act to any law which is not in force in any area shall, in relation to that area, be construed as a reference to the corresponding law, if any, in force in that area. And any reference in this Act to any officer or authority shall, in relation to any area in which there is not officer or authority with the same designation, be construed as a reference to such officer or authority as may be specified by the central government by notification on the official gazette. That is, equivalent designations can be recognized. Next, we come to chapter 2. This is very important, mainly section 3 and section 4, because police normally books the FIR under these sections. So it is about acquisition, possession, manufacture, sale, import, export, and transport of arms and ammunition. Section 3, it declares some offences under various subsections. So first, there is license for acquisition and possession of firearms and ammunition. No person shall acquire, have in his possession, or carry any firearm or ammunition unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this Act and the rules made thereunder. Provided that a person may, without himself holding a license, carry any firearm or ammunition in the presence or under the written authority of the holder of the license for repair or for renewal or of the license or for use by such holder. So this is exemption given to the holder. Then Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, no person other than a person referred to in subsection 3 shall acquire, have in his possession or carry at any time more than 2 firearms. So provided that the person who has in his possession more firearms than 3 at the commencement of the Arms Amendment Act 1983, this was a major amendment done, may retain with him any 3 of such firearms and shall deposit within 30 days from such commencement the remaining firearms with the officer in charge of the nearest police station or subject to the conditions prescribed for the purposes of subsection 1 of section 21 with a licensed dealer or where such person is a member of the armed forces of the union in a unit armory referred to in that subsection. So not more than 2 firearms are permitted, maximum 2. If there are 3 at the commencement of this amendment, they shall be deposited. They were deposited. Provided that the person who has in his possession more firearms than 2 at the commencement of the Arms Amendment Act 2019 may retain with him any 2 of such firearms and shall deposit within 1 year from the such commencement the remaining firearm with the officer in charge of the nearest police station or subject to the conditions prescribed for the purposes of subsection 1 of section 21 with a licensed dealer or where such person is a member of the armed forces of the union in a unit armory related to in that subsection, after which it shall be delicensed within 90 days from the date of expiry of aforesaid 1 year. So this was after the amendment of 2019. This provision has been added. Provided further that while granting arms license or on inheritance or heirloom basis, the limit of 2 firearms shall not be exceeded. That means if there is father and son, so after inheritance, number should not exceed 2. If there are excess arms, they have to be deposited. Nothing contained in subsection 2 shall apply to any dealer in firearms or to any other member of a rifle club or rifle association licensed or recognized by the central government using a .22 bore rifle or an air rifle for target practice. So they have been exempted. The provisions of subsection 4 to 6, both inclusive of section 21, shall apply in relation to any deposit of firearms under the provision to subsection 2 as they apply in relation to the deposit of any arm or ammunition under subsection 1 of that section. So these rules of deposit apply in such cases, excess firearms. If the now section 4 is there, license for acquisition and possession of arms of specified description in certain cases. So if the central government is of opinion that having regard to the circumstances prevailing in any area, it is because the threat assessment or risk assessment is done first, it is necessary or expedient in the public interest that the acquisition, possession or carrying of arms other than firearms should also be regulated. It may by notification in the official gazette direct that this section shall apply to the area specified in the notification and thereupon no person shall acquire or have in his possession or carry in that area arms of such class or description as may be specified in that notification unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this act and the rules made thereunder. So there could be FIR under section 4 also if there is violation. Punishments are specified in 25. License for manufacture, sale, etc. of arms and ammunition. That is section 5. So no person shall use, manufacture, obtain, procure, sell, transfer, convert, repair, test or prove or expose or offer for sale or transfer or have in his possession for sale, transfer, conversion, repair, test or proof any firearm or any arms, any other arms of such class or description as may be prescribed or any ammunition unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this act and the rules made thereunder. So this is section 5 that resides for license. Subsection 2, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, a person may without holding a license in this behalf, sell or transfer any arms or ammunition which he lawfully possesses for his own private use to another person who is entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the time being enforced to have or is not prohibited by this act or any other law for the say from having in his possession such arms or ammunition. Of course, transfer has to be intimated to the DM. Provided that no firearm or ammunition in respect of which a license is required under section 3 and no arms in respect of which a license is required under section 4 shall be so sold or transferred to any person unless he has informed in writing. I have already told him, intimation has to be given to DM. So he has informed in writing the district magistrate having jurisdiction of the officer or the officer in charge of the nearest police station of his intention to sell or transfer such firearms, ammunition or other arms and the name and address of the person to whom he intends to sell or transfer such firearms, ammunition or the other arms and a period of not less than 45 days has expired after the giving of such information. That means before such transfer or sale is effected, 45 days notice shall be given to the DM regarding this intention. Section 6, license for shortening of guns or conversion of imitation firearms into firearms. So no person shall shorten the barrel of a firearm or convert an imitation firearm into a firearm or convert from any category of firearms mentioned in the Arms Rates Rules 2016 into any other category of firearms unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this Act and the rules made thereunder. So in this section, expression imitation firearm means anything which has the appearance of being a firearm, whether it is capable of discharging any shot, bullet or other missile or not. That is imitation firearm. Under section 7, prohibition of acquisition or possession of manufacture or sell of prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition. So no person shall acquire, have in his possession or carry or use, manufacture, sell, transfer, convert, repair, test or prove or expose or offer for sale or transfer or have in his repair, test or proof any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition unless he has been specifically authorized by the central government in this behalf. We know the case of Sanjay Dutt, who was convicted under Arms Act. AK-47 was found, and although he was discharged under TADA, that is Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Act 1997, but he was prosecuted under Arms Act, and now the punishment under the 2019 has been enhanced in some cases, as we shall see in section 25, to life imprisonment. The section 8 is prohibition of sale or transfer of firearms not bearing identification marks. That means the name of maker or manufacturer shall be there. So no person shall obliterate, remove, alter or forge any name, number or other identification mark stamped or otherwise shown on a firearm or ammunition. And no person shall sell or transfer any firearm which does not bear the name of the maker, manufacturer's number or other identification mark stamped or otherwise shown thereon in a manner approved by the central government. So this marking has to be there. Whenever any person has in his possession any firearm without such name, number or other identification mark, or in which such name, number or other identification mark has been obliterated, removed, altered or forged, it shall be presumed, unless the contrary is proved, that he has obliterated, removed, altered or forged that name, number or other identification mark. So there is presumption of guilt in such case. Provided that in relation to a person who has in his possession at the commencement of this act any firearm without such name, number or other identification mark stamped or otherwise shown thereon, the provisions of the subsection shall not take effect until after the expiration of 1 year from such commencement. That means they have to deposit it. 1 year time period was given, because criminal law can't be in under with retrospective effect as per Article 20, Clause 1 of the Constitution of India. Prohibition of acquisition or possession by or of sale and or transfer to young persons and certain other persons or of firearms, etc. So now the age limit has been prescribed, 21 years. So notwithstanding anything in this, in the foregoing provisions of this act, no person who has not completed the age of 21 years or who has been sentenced on conviction of any offense involving violence or moral turpitude to imprisonment for any term. Earlier it was, say, different provision, so not less than 6 months, but now it is any term. That means even less than 6 months at any time during a period of 5 years after the expiration of the sentence. So limitation is there. Or so for 5 years there is ban after conviction, or who has been that is serving the sentence, or who has been ordered to execute under chapter 8 of the CRPC a bond, that is generally in 106 to 110, 110, a bond for keeping the peace or for good behavior at any time during the term of the bond, shall acquire, have in his possession or carry any firearm or ammunition. So these are the prohibitions. Then no person shall sell or transfer any firearm or ammunition to or convert, repair, test or prove any firearm or ammunition for any other person whom he knows or has reason to believe to be prohibited under clause A from acquiring, having in his possession or carrying any firearm or ammunition, or to be of unsound mind at the time of such sale or transfer or such conversion, repair, test or proof. Given under the Contract Act 1872, there are special provisions for people of unsound mind. They are not competent to contract. Similarly, here there is disqualification. Under subsection 2, notwithstanding anything in subclause 1 of clause A of subsection 1, a person who has attained the prescribed age limit may use under prescribed conditions such firearms as may be prescribed in the course of his training in the use of such firearms. So for training purpose, it may be allowed even if less than 21, provided that different age limits may be prescribed in relation to different types of firearms. That is prescribed under rules, arms rules. Then license for import and export of arms, etc. So for overseas trade, these provisions are there. No person shall bring into or take out of India by land, sea, land, or any other arms or ammunition unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this Act and the rules made thereunder, provided that a person who is entitled by virtue of this Act or any other law for the timing in force in to have or is not prohibited by this Act or such other law from having in his possession any arms or ammunition may without a license in this behalf bring into or take out of India such arms or ammunition in reasonable quantities for his own private use. So this exemption is there for own private use. Then license clause B, a person being a bona fide tourist belonging to any such country as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify who is not prohibited by the laws of that country from having in his possession any arms or ammunition may without a license under this section but in accordance with such conditions as may be prescribed bring with him into India arms and ammunition in reasonable quantities for use by him for purposes only of sport and for no other purpose. So only for sporting it may be permitted. And for purposes of clause B of this proviso, that our word tourist means a person who not being a citizen of India visits India for a period not exceeding 6 months with no other object than recreation, sightseeing or participation in a representative capacity in meetings convened by the central government or in international conferences, associations or other bodies. So there is some relaxation and restrictions. Notwithstanding anything contained in proviso to subsection 1, where the Commissioner of Customs or any other officer empowered by the central government in this behalf has any doubt as to the applicability of clause A or clause B of that proviso to any person who claims that such clause is applicable to him, or as to the reasonableness of the quantities of arms or ammunition in the possession of any person referred to in such clause, or as to the use to which such arms or ammunition may be put by such person, may obtain the arms or ammunition in the possession of such person until he receives the orders of the central government in relation thereto. So customs has got power to seize the arms from foreigners. Arms and ammunition taken from one part of India to another by sea or air or across any intervening territory not forming part of India are taken out of and brought into India within the meaning of this section. So these are the territorial interpretation. A power to prohibit import or export of arms, section 11. Central government may by notification in the official gazette prohibit the bringing into or the taking out of India arms or ammunition of such classes and descriptions as may be specified in the notification. This is quite contrary to say situation prevailing in US, where there is a private sector which does everything. Here we have ordnance factory and arms, private arms are very restricted. Power to restrict or prohibit transport of arms under section 12. So central government may by notification in the official gazette direct that no person shall transport over India or any part thereof arms or ammunition of such classes or descriptions as may be specified in the notification unless he holds in this behalf a license issued in accordance with the provisions of this Act and the rules made thereunder, or prohibit such transport altogether, and arms or ammunition transshipped in at a seaport or an airport in India are transported within the meaning of this section. So these are restrictions on transport. Then we come to chapter 3, that is provisions relating to licenses. That is how to obtain licenses and what is the procedure. So under section 13, application is to be made, grant of licenses. So an application for the grant of license under chapter 2 shall be made to the licensing authority and shall be in such form, contain such particulars and be accompanied by such fee, if any, as may be prescribed. We already seen section 3 and 4. On receipt of an application, the licensing authority shall call in the report of the officer in charge of the nearest police station on that application, and such officer shall send his report within the prescribed time. So normally the DM obtains the report from the police. Then 2A, the licensing authority after such inquiry, if any, as it may consider necessary, and after considering the report received under subsection 2, shall subject to the other provisions of this chapter by order in writing, either grant the license or refuse to grant the same, provided that where the officer in charge of the nearest police station does not send his report on the application within the prescribed time, the licensing authority may, if it deems fit, make such order after the expiry of the prescribed time without further waiting for that report. That means if report is not submitted, that means police report is okay and license may be granted. Such that police does not try to extract bribes by delaying unnecessarily. They have to see the criminal record of the person who has, say, applied for license. The licensing authority shall grant a license under section 3 where the license is required by citizen of India in respect of a smooth bore gun having a barrel of not less than 20 inches in length to be used for protection or sport, or in respect of a muzzle heading gun to be used for bona fide crop protection. Provided that where having regard to the circumstances of any case, the licensing authority is satisfied that a muzzle loading gun will not be sufficient for crop protection, the licensing authority may grant a license in respect of any other smooth bore gun as aforesaid for such protection. Or in respect of a firearm to be used for target practice by member of the rifle club or the association licensed or recognized by the central government. These are exempted as we have seen. So a license under section 3 in any other case, or a license under section 4, section 5, section 6, section 10 or section 12, if the licensing authority is satisfied that the person by whom the license is required has a good reason for obtaining the same, this type of license can be granted. Then the perusal of licenses. So notwithstanding anything in section 13, the licensing authority shall refuse to grant a license under section 3, section 4 or section 5, where such license is required in respect of any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition. So this is refusal. Licensing can be refused under subsection, this clause B also. A license in any other case under chapter 2, where such license is required by a person whom the receiving authority has reason to believe to be prohibited by this act or by any other law for the timing and force from acquiring, having in his possession or carrying any arms or ammunition, or to be of unsound mind, or to be for any reason unfit for a license under the act, or where the licensing authority deems it necessary for the security of the public peace or for public safety to refuse to grant such license. So for public peace, because that is a policy matter, then duration and threat perception is done. Duration and renewal of license. So a license under section 3 shall, unless revoked earlier, continue in force for a period of 5 years from the date on which it is granted. So after 2019, earlier the period was 3 years, now it is extended to 5 years validity of the license. Provided that such a license may be granted for a shorter period if the person by whom the license is required so desires, or if the licensing authority, for reasons to be recorded in writing, considers in any case that the license should be granted for a shorter period. So it could be 5 years or less than that. Provided further that the license granted under section 3 shall be subject to the conditions specified in subclauses 2 and 3 of clause A of subsection 1 of section 9, and the licensee shall produce the license along with the firearm or ammunition and connected document before the licensing authority after every 5 years from the date on which it is granted or renewed. So at the time of renewal, that firearm has to be produced. A license under any other provision of chapter 2 shall, unless revoked earlier, continue in force for such period from the date on which it is granted as the licensing authority may in each case determine. And every license shall, unless the licensing authority has reasons to be recorded in writing, otherwise decided in any case, be renewable for the same period for which the license was originally granted. That means again 5 years, and shall be so renewable from time to time. And the provisions of sections 13 and 14 shall apply to the renewal of a license as they apply to the grant thereof. So for renewal, again, application has to be made, fees has to be paid. Then fees, etc. of a license. These have to be prescribed by rules. So fees on payment of which the conditions subject to which and the form in which a license shall be granted or renewed shall be such as may be prescribed. That is by rules. Provided that different fees, different conditions and different forms may be prescribed for different types of licenses. Provided further that a license may contain, in addition to prescribed conditions, such other conditions as may be considered necessary by the licensing authority in any particular case. So the terms and conditions are printed on the license document also. Then the variation, suspension and revocation of licenses. So licensing authority may vary the conditions subject to which license has been granted, except such of them as have been prescribed, and may for that purpose require the license holder by notice in writing to deliver up the license to it within such time as may be specified in the notice. And the licensing authority may, on the application of the holder of a license, also vary the conditions of the license, except such of them as have been prescribed. So there can be variation, suspension, as well as revocation. Now we see how the suspension and revocation is done. The licensing authority may, by order in writing, suspend a license for such period as it thinks fit, or revoke a license if the licensing authority is satisfied that the holder of the license is prohibited by this act or by any other law for the timing in force from acquiring, having in his possession, or carrying any arms or ammunition, or is of unsound mind, or is for any reason unfit for a license under this act, or if the licensing authority deems it necessary for the security of the public peace or for public safety to suspend or revoke the license, or if the license was obtained by the suppression of material information, that is fraudulently, or on the basis of wrong information provided by the, say, holder of the license or any other person on his behalf at the time of applying for it, or if any other conditions of the license has been contravened, or if the holder of the license has failed to comply with a notice under subsection 1 requiring him to deliver of the license. So these are the 5 instances of variation, suspension, revocation. Then the licensing authority may also revoke a license on the application of the holder thereof. So applicant may apply voluntarily. Where the licensing authority makes an order wearing a license under subsection 1 or an order suspending or revoking a license under subsection 3, it shall record in writing the reasons therefore and furnish to the holder of the license and on demand a brief statement of the same, unless in any case the licensing authority is of the opinion that it will not be in public interest to furnish such statement. And then there is, of course, provision of appeal that we shall see in next section. So authority to whom the licensing authority is subordinate may by order in writing suspend or revoke a license on any ground on which it may be suspended or revoked by the licensing authority, and the foregoing provisions of this section shall, as far as may be, apply in relation to the suspension or revocation of a license by such authority. Then a court convicting the holder of a license or any other offence under this act or the rules made thereunder may also suspend or revoke the license. So convicting court also has the powers, provided that if the conviction is set aside on appeal or otherwise, the suspension or revocation shall become void. And an order of suspension or revocation under subsection 7 may also be made by an appellate court or by the High Court when exercising its powers of prevision. Then the central government may by order in the official gazette suspend or revoke or direct any licensing authority to suspend or revoke all or any licenses granted under this act throughout India or any part thereof. So central government has the final powers. And on the suspension or revocation of a license under this section, the holder thereof shall without delay surrender the license to the authority by whom it has been suspended or revoked, or to another such other authority as may be specified in this behalf in the order of suspension or revocation. Sometimes during the election times also they ask to surrender the firearms. Now if there is unjust order, then that can be appealed against. So any person achieved by an order of the licensing authority refusing to grant a license or varying the conditions of a license, or by an order of the licensing authority or the authority to whom the licensing authority is subordinate, suspending or revoking his license, may prefer an appeal against that order to such authority hereinafter referred to as the appellate authority, and within such time as may be prescribed. So that may be prescribed by rules, arms rules, provided that no appeal shall lie against any order made by or under the direction of the government. So if there is order of the government, then that can't be appealed. So no appeal shall be admitted if it is preferred after the expiry of the period prescribed therefore. So there is limitation period, and provided that an appeal may be admitted after the expiry of the period prescribed, that may be prescribed by the rules. Therefore, if the appellant satisfies the appellate authority that he had sufficient recourse, sufficient cause for not preferring the appeal within that period, so it can be entertained even after limitation period. The period prescribed for an appeal shall be computed in accordance with the provisions of the Indian Limitation Act 1908. Now we have Limitation Act 1963. Computation of periods of limitation thereunder. Every appeal under this section shall be made by petition in writing, and shall be accompanied by a brief statement of the reasons for the order appealed against, where such statement has been furnished by the applicant, appellant, and by such fee as may be prescribed. So there will be a case papers that have to be presented. In disposing of an appeal, the appellate authority shall follow such procedure as may be prescribed, provided that no appeal shall be disposed of unless the appellant has been given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. That means the principles of natural justice have to be followed. The order appealed against shall, unless the appellate authority conditionally or unconditionally directs otherwise, be in force pending the disposal of the appeal against such order. So the order which has been appealed against, so that order may shall remain in force until pending the disposal. That means appeal have to be disposed immediately. Every order of the appellate authority confirming, modifying, or reversing the order appealed against shall be final. So either the order can be confirmed, or it could be modified, or it could be reversed. That completes chapter 3. Now we see next chapter, that is powers and procedure. So powers to demand production of license, etc. That is, any police officer or any other officer specially empowered in this behalf by the central government may demand the production of his license from any person who is carrying any arms or ammunition. If the person upon whom a demand is made refuses or fails to produce the license, or to show that he is entitled by virtue of this act or by any other law for the timing and force to carry such arms or ammunition without a license, the officer concerned may require him to give his name and address, and if such officer considers it necessary, seize from that person the arms or ammunition which he is carrying. It is identical to section 42. Section 42 provides for arrest. Here only the arms are seized of CRPC. Powers to demand production of license, etc. So if that person refuses to give his name and address, or if the officer concerned suspects that that person of giving a false name or address, or of intending to abscond, such officer may arrest him without warrant. This is analogous to section 42 of CRPC, because arrest can also be made. Then arrest of persons conveying arms, etc. under suspicious circumstances. So where any person is found, see, these arrest provisions are different from CRPC, that is chapter 5, 41 to 60A. Where any person is found carrying or conveying any arms or ammunition, whether covered by a license or not, in such manner or under such circumstances as to afford just grounds of suspicion that the same are or is being carried by him with intent to use them, or that the same may be used for any magistrate, any police officer, or any other public servant, or any person employed or working upon a railway, aircraft, vessel, vehicle, or any other means of conveyance may arrest him without warrant and seize from him such arms or ammunition. So these have got, being a special law, have overriding effect over the CRPC. Deposit of arms, etc. on possession ceasing to be lawful. So any person having in his possession any arms or ammunition, the possession whereof, the duration of a license or of the suspension or revocation of a license, or by the issue of a notification under section 4, or by any reason whatever, cease to be lawful, shall without unnecessary delay deposit the same either with the officer in charge of the nearest police station, or subject to such conditions as may be prescribed, with a licensed dealer, or where such person is a member of the armed forces of the Union in a unit armory. So army officers can deposit in unit armory, and in this subsection, unit armory includes an armory in a ship or establishment. Then where arms or ammunition have or has been deposited under subsection 1, the depositor, or as the case or in the case of his death, his legal representative shall at any time before the expiry of such period as may be prescribed be entitled to receive back anything so deposited on his becoming entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the time being in force, to have the same in his possession, because that is property, or to dispose or authorize the disposal of anything so deposited by sale or otherwise to any person entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the time being in force, to have or not prohibited by this act or such other law from having the same in his possession, and to receive the proceeds of any such disposal. So he can either possess or dispose or sell, transfer, provided that nothing in this subsection shall be deemed to authorize the return or disposal of anything of which confiscation has been directed under section 32. So if it is confiscated, then it can't be sold. All things deposited and not received back or disposed of under subsection 2 within the period therein referred to shall be forfeited to government by order of the district magistrate, provided that in the case of suspension of a license, no such forfeiture shall be ordered in respect of a thing covered by the license during the period of suspension. So except suspension, this forfeiture can be done by the magistrate, DM. Before making any order under subsection 3, the district magistrate shall, by notice in writing to be served upon the depositor, or in the case of his death, upon his legal representative in the prescribed manner, require him to show cause within 30 days from the service of the notice why the thing specified in the notice should not be forfeited. So there is show cause notice given 1 month before. After considering the cause, if any, shown by the depositor, or as the case may be his legal representative, the district magistrate shall pass such order as he thinks fit. The government may at any time return to the depositor or his legal representative things forfeited to it, or the proceeds of disposal thereof, wholly or in part, because arms are costly also. Then the search and seizure power by magistrate. These are different from section 50 of CRPC. So in case of arms, there is special provision. Whenever any magistrate has reason to believe that any person residing within the local limits of his jurisdiction has in his possession any arms or ammunition for any unlawful purpose, or that such person cannot be left in the possession of any arms or ammunition without danger to the public place or safety, the magistrate may, after having recorded the reasons for his behalf, cause a search to be made of the house or premises occupied by such person, or in which the magistrate has reason to believe that such arms or ammunition are or is to be found, and may have such arms or ammunition, if any, seized and detain the same to safe custody for such period as he thinks necessary, although that person may be entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the time in force to have the same in his possession. So these are search and seizure powers. Every search under this section shall be conducted or by or in the presence of a magistrate or by or in the presence of some officer, especially empowered in this behalf by the central government. The search of vessels, vehicles for arms, etc. So any magistrate, any police officer or any other officer specially empowered in this behalf by the central government may, for the purpose of ascertaining whether any contravention of this act or the rules made thereunder is being or is likely to be committed, stop and search any vessel, vehicle or other means of contravene means of conveyance, and seize any arms or ammunition that may be found therein along with such vessel, vehicle or other means of conveyance. So not only arm, but that vessel, vehicle or other means of conveyance can also be seized. The seizure and detention under orders of the central government. So central government may at any time order seizure of any arms or ammunition in the possession of any person, notwithstanding that such person is entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the time in force to have the same in his possession, and may detain the same for such period as it thinks necessary for the public peace and safety. So central government has the final powers. Then 24A, prohibition as to possession of notified arms in disturbed areas, etc. For disturbed areas, this special provision has been, say, incorporated, added in 1983, where the central government is satisfied that there is extensive disturbance of public peace and tranquility or imminent danger of such disturbance in such area, in any area, and that for the prevention of offences involving the use of arms in such area, it is necessary or expedient so to do. It may, by notification in the official gazette, specify the limits of such area, that is the borders or boundaries where arms are prohibited. Then direct that before the commencement of the period specified in the notification, which period shall be a period commencing from a date not earlier than the 4th day after the date of publication of the notification in the official gazette, every person having in his possession in such area, that is within 3 days they have to deposit, any arms of such description as may be specified in the notification, the arms so specified being hereafter in this section referred to as notified arms, shall deposit the same before such commencement in accordance with the provisions of section 21, and for this purpose the possession by such person of any notified arms shall, notwithstanding anything contained in any other provision of this act except section 41 or any other law for the time in force or from the date of publication of such notification in the official gazette, be deemed to have ceased to be lawful, and declare that as from the commencement of and until the expiry of the say period specified in the notification, it shall not be lawful for any person to have in his possession in such area any notified arms, and authorize any such officer subordinate to the central government or state government as may be specified in the notification to search at any time during the period specified in the notification any person in or passing through or any premises in or any animal or vessel or vehicle or other conveyance of whatever nature in or passing through or any receptacle or other container of whatever nature in such area, if such officer has reason to believe that any notified arms are, say, secreted by such person or in such premises or on such animal or in such vessel, vehicle or other conveyance or in such receptacle or other container, and to seize at any time during the period specified in the notification any notified arms in the possession of any person in such area or discovered through a search under subclause 1 and detain the same during the period specified in the notification. So during that period, these powers remain in force, and any time this action can be done. The period specified in a notification issued under subsection 1 in respect of any area shall not in the first instance exceed 90 days. But the central government may amend such notification to extend such period from time to time by any period not exceeding 90 days at any one time, or if in the opinion of the government there continues to be in such areas such disturbance of public peace and tranquility as is referred to in subsection 1 or imminent danger thereof, and that for the provisions of offences involving the use of arms in such area, it is necessary or expedient so to do. And the provisions of the CRPC relating to searches and seizures shall, so far as may be, apply to any search or seizure made under subsection 1. So this prohibition can be done. Then specifying the limits of such area. Then direct that people, before the commencement of the period specified in the notification, which period shall be a period commencing from a date and not earlier than the 4th day after date of publication of the notification, It's repeated, I think. Now the subsection 2 of section 24A. So the period specified in a notification issued under subsection 1 in respect of any area shall not in the first instance exceed 90 days. But the central government may amend such notification to extend such period from time to time by any period not exceeding 90 days at any one time, or if in the opinion of that government there continues to be in such area such disturbance of public peace and tranquility as is referred to in subsection 1 or imminent danger thereof, and that for the prevention of offence involving the use of arms in such area it is necessary or expedient so to do. So that can be extended. Then for the purposes of this section, arms includes ammunition, and where the period specified in notification as originally issued under subsection 1 is extended under subsection 2, then in relation to such notification, references in subsection 1 to the period specified in the notification shall be considered as references to the period as so extended. So it could be period or it could be extended period. Then there is 24B, that is prohibition as to carrying of notified arms in or through public places in disturbed areas, etc. So there is not only notified period, but there is also notified arms or notified area. So now there is provision related to arms, where the central government is specified that there is extensive disturbance of public peace and tranquility or imminent danger of such disturbance in any area, and that for the prevention of offences involving the use of arms in such areas, it is necessary or expedient so to do. It may by notification in the official gazette specify the limits of such area and direct. Now here it is concerned with the types of arms. So direct that during the period specified in the notification, which period shall be a period commencing from a date not earlier than the second day after the date of publication of the notification in the official gazette, that is within 1 day. No person shall carry or otherwise have in his possession any arms of such description as may be specified in the notification. The arms as specified being herein after in this section referred to as notified arms through or in any public place or such area. 24A was about notified area. This is about notified arms. Authorize any such officer subordinate to the central government or state government as may be specified in this notification to search at any time during the period specified in the notification any person in or passing through or any premises in or forming part of or any animal or vessel or vehicle or other conveyance or of whatever nature in or passing through or any receptacle or any other container or of whatever nature in any public place in such area, if such officer has reason to believe that any notified arms are secreted by such person or in such premises or in such animal or in such vessel, vehicle or other conveyance or in such receptacle or other container, and to seize at any time during the period specified in the notification any notified arms being carried by or otherwise in the possession of any person through or in a public place in such area of discovered through a speech search under subsection subclause 1 and retain the same during the period specified in the notification. And the period specified in a notification issued under subsection 1 in respect of any area shall not in the first instance exceed 90 days, but the central government may amend such notification to extend such period from time to time by any period not exceeding 90 days at any one time, if in the opinion of that government there continues to be in such area such disturbance of public peace and tranquility as is notified to in subsection 1 of or imminent danger thereof, and that for the prevention of offences involving the use of arms in such area it is necessary or expedient so to do. And then the provisions of the CRPC relating to searches and seizures shall so far as may be applied to any search or seizure made under subsection 1. And for the purpose of this section, arms include ammunition. Public place means any place included for use of or by accessible to the public or any section of the public, and where the period specified in a public notification as originally issued under subsection 1 is extended under subsection 2, then in relation to such notification, their references in subsection 1 to the period specified in the notification shall be construed as references to the period as so extended. So these are the two sections that have been added, that is 24A and 24B through amendment. Now the most important section, that is section 25, under which there is punishment for different offences. So under subsection 1, whoever manufactures, obtains, procures, sells, transfers, converts, repairs, tests or proves or exposes or offers for sale or transfer or has in his possession for sale, transfer, conversion, repair, test or proof any arms or ammunition in contravention of section 5 or shortens the barrel of a firearm or converts an imitation firearm into a firearm, or convert from any category of firearms mentioned in the Arms Rules 2016 into any other category of firearms in contravention of Section 6, or brings into or takes out of India any arms or ammunition of any class or description in contravention of Section 11, shall be punishable for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and shall not be liable to fine. Sanjay Dutt was convicted for 5 years. Now here, after the amendment of 2019, the punishment is minimum 7 years. It shall not be less than 7 years, but it may extend to imprisonment for life. That is the maximum punishment. Life does not mean 14 or 20 years. Life is the person remains, can be, say, is convicted for his natural life, entire duration of his remaining life. Then under subsection 1A, whoever acquires, has in his possession or carries any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition in contravention of Section 7 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to 14 years, and shall also be liable to fine. So again, this punishment has been enhanced by the 2019 amendment, provided that the court may, for any adequate and special reasons to be recorded in the judgment, impose a sentence of imprisonment for a term of less than 7 years. So reasons have to be recorded if it is to be less than 7 years. Whoever manufactures, sells, transfers, this is Section 1AA and then Section 1AB. So whoever manufactures, sells, transfers, converts, repairs, tests or proves or expenses, exposes or offers for sale or transfer, or has in his possession for sale, transfer, conversion, repair, test or proof any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition in contravention of Section 7 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and shall also be liable to fine. And under 1AB, whoever by using force takes the firearm from the police or armed forces shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but it may extend to imprisonment for life, and shall also be liable to fine. So these are the two amendments that are introduced in 2019. Then subsection 1AAA. So whoever has in contravention of a notification issued under Section 24A in his possession, or in contravention of a notification issued under Section 24B, carries or otherwise has in his possession any arms or ammunition shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and shall also be liable to fine. So these have been introduced in 1988 along with that amendment, and instead of say 1 year, but which may extend to 5 years, now the punishment is 7 years and may extend to imprisonment for life. That means sessions trial is there. Whoever acquires under 1B has in his possession or carries any firearm or ammunition in contravention of Section 3, or acquires, has in his possession or carries in any place specified by notification under Section 4 any arms of such class or description as has been specified in that notification in contravention of that section, or sells or transfer any firearm which does not bear the name of the maker, manufacturer's number, or other identification mark stamped or otherwise shown thereon as required by subsection 2 of Section 8, or does any act in contravention of subsection 1 of that section, or being a person to whom subclause 2 or subclause 3 of clause A of subsection 1 of section 9 applies, acquires, has in his possession or carries any firearm or ammunition in contravention of that section, or sells or transfers or converts or repairs, tests or proves any firearm or ammunition in contravention of clause B of section 1 of section 9, or brings into or takes out of India any arms or ammunition or in contravention of section 10, or transports any arms or ammunition in contravention of section 12, or fails to deposit arms or ammunition as required by subsection 2 of section 3 or subsection 1 of section 21, or being a manufacturer of or dealer in arms or ammunition fails on being required to do so by rules made under section 44 to maintain a record or account, or to make therein all such entries as are required by such rules, or intentionally makes a false entry therein, or prevents or obstructs the inspection of such record or account, or the making of copies or entries therefrom, or prevents or obstructs any entry into any premises or other say place where arms or ammunition are, or is manufactured or kept, or intentionally fails to exhibit or conceal such arms or ammunition, or refuses to point out where the same are or is manufactured or kept, shall be punishable with imprisonment for term which shall not be less than 2 years, but which may extend to 5 years, and shall also be liable to fine, and shall also be liable to fine. So the term would be 2 to 5 years for these offences. For any adequate and special means, reasons to be recorded in the judgment, impose a sentence of imprisonment for a term less than 2 years. That means there is a warrant trial for this. Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1b, whoever commits an offence punishable under that subsection in any disturbed area shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 3 years, but which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. So there is more punishment in case of disturbed area. And for the purpose of this subsection, disturbed area means any area declared to be a disturbed area under any enactment for the timing in force, making provision for the suppression of disorder and restoration and maintenance of public order, and includes any areas specified by notification under section 24A or section 24B. So these powers are with the government. Whoever being a person to whom subclause if subclause 1 of clause A or subsection 1 of section 9 applies, acquires, has in his possession or carries any firearm or ammunition in contravention of that section shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year or with fine or with both. So this is punishment under 25(2). Then subsection 3, whoever sells or transfers any firearm or ammunition or other arms without informing the district magistrate having jurisdiction or the officer in charge of the nearest police station of the intended sale or transfer of that firearm or ammunition or other arms, or before the expiration of the period of 45 days from the date of giving such information to such district magistrate or the officer in charge of the police station in contravention of the provisions of clause A or clause B of the provision to subsection 2 of section 3 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months or with fine of an amount which may extend to 500 rupees or with both. So this is under 25(3). Then there is subsection 4. So whoever fails to deliver up a license when so required by the licensing authority under subsection 1 of section 17 for the purpose of varying the conditions specified in the license, that is for alteration in conditions, or fails to surrender a license to the appropriate authority under subsection 10 of that section on its suspension or revocation, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months or with fine or an amount which may extend to 500 rupees or with both. Then under subsection 5, whoever when required under section 19 to give his name and address, refuses to give such name and address or gives a name and address which subsequently transpired to be false, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months or with fine of an amount which may extend to 200 rupees or with both. Then 6, if any member of an organized crime syndicate, that is gang member, or any person on its behalf has at any time has in his possession or carries any arms or ammunition in contravention of any provisions of chapter 2 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. So in case of organized, it is 10 to life. And whoever on behalf of a member of an organized crime syndicate or a person on its behalf manufactures, obtains, procures, sells, transfers, converts, repairs, tests or proves or exposes or offers for sale or transfer, conversion, repair, test or proof any arms or ammunition in contravention of section 5, or shortens the barrel of a firearm or converts an imitation firearm into a firearm, or converts from any category of firearms mentioned in the Arms Rules 2016 into any other category of firearms in contravention of section 6, or brings into or takes out of India any arms or ammunition of any class or description in contravention of section 11 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. And the explanation is given, organized crime definition. It means any continuing unlawful activity by any person, singly or collectively, either as a member of an organized crime syndicate or on behalf of such syndicate, by use of violence or threat of violence or intimidation or coercion or other unlawful means with the objective of gaining pecuniary benefits or gaining undue economic or other advantage for himself or any person. That is loot, dacoity, etc. Organized crime syndicate means a group of 2 or more persons who, acting either singly or collectively as a syndicate or gang, indulge in activities of organized crime. Whoever involves in or aids in the illicit trafficking of firearms and ammunition in contravention of section 3, 5, 6, 7, and 11 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. So minimum 10 years, maximum imprisonment for life. For the purposes of this subsection, illicit trafficking means the import, export, acquisition, sale, delivery, movement, or transfer of firearms and ammunition into, from or within the territory of India, if the firearms and ammunition are not marked in accordance with the provisions of this Act or are being trafficked in contravention of the provisions of this Act, indulging smuggled firearms of foreign make or prohibited arms and prohibited ammunition. Then subsection 9, whoever uses firearm in a rash or negligent manner or in celebratory gunfire. There is common occurrence in northern states, celebratory gunfire, like in case of marriages or other processions, so as to endanger human life or personal liberty of others, shall be punishable with an imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh, or with both. And for the purposes of this subsection, celebratory gunfire means the practice of using firearm in public gatherings, religious places, marriage parties, or other functions to fire ammunition. Then secret contraventions. So whoever does any act in contravention of any of the provisions of section 3, 4, 10 or 12 in such manner as to indicate an intention that such act may not be known to any public servant or to any person employed or working upon a railway, aircraft, vessel, vehicle or any other means of conveyance shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months but which may extend to 7 years and also with fine. So under 26 also FIR can be lodged. Whoever does any act in contravention of any of the provisions of sections 5, 6, 7 or 11 in such manner as to indicate an intention that such act may not be known to any public servant or to any other person employed or working upon a railway, aircraft, vessel, vehicle or any other means of conveyance shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years but which may extend to 10 years and also with fine. And whoever on any such being made under section 22 conceals or attempts to conceal any arms or ammunition shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and also with fine. So there could be punishment up to 10 years. Then the punishment for using arms, etc. This has been substituted in 1988 for the older section. So whoever uses any arms or ammunition in contravention of section 5 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 3 years, but which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. And whoever uses any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition in contravention of section 7 shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. So again, there is maximum life imprisonment. Whoever uses any prohibited arms or prohibited ammunition or does any act in contravention of section 7 and such use or act results in the death of any other person shall be punishable with imprisonment for life or death. Here there could be death penalty also. And that is capital punishment and shall also be liable to fine. Then whoever makes or attempts under section 28, whoever makes or attempts to make any use whatsoever of a firearm or an imitation firearm with intent to resist or prevent the lawful arrest or detention of himself or any other person shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years and with fine. And imitation firearm has the same meaning as in section 6. So even using imitation firearm could be punishable up to 7 years. Then 29. So punishment for knowingly purchasing arms, etc. from unlicensed person or from delivering arms, etc. to person not entitled to possess the same. This is for those who are trading in arms. So, and those who are buying. So whoever purchases any firearms or any other arms of such class or description as may be prescribed or any ammunition from any other person, knowing that such other person is not licensed or authorized under section 3. So under section 5. So first they have to check the license before selling the arms. Or delivers any arms or ammunition into the possession of another person without previously ascertaining that such other person is entitled by virtue of this act or any other law for the timing and force to have and is not prohibited by this act or such other law from having in his possession the same shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. Quantity of fine is not mentioned. Punishment for contravention of license or rule. So whoever contravenes any condition of a license or any provision of this act or any rule made thereunder, for which no punishment is provided elsewhere in this act, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months or with fine which may extend to 2,000 rupees or with both. Then we have 31, punishment for subsequent offences, that is repeat offenders. So whoever having been convicted of an offence under this act is again convicted of an offence under this act shall be punishable with double the penalty provided for the latter offence. So double penalty is there. And their power to confiscate. When any person is convicted under this act of any offence committed by him in respect of any arms or ammunition, it shall be in the discretion of the convicting court further to direct that the whole or any portion of such arms or ammunition and any vessel, vehicle or other means of conveyance and any receptacle or things containing or used to conceal the arms or ammunition shall be confiscated, provided that if the conviction is set aside on appeal or otherwise, the order of confiscation shall become void. And any an order of confiscation may also be made by the appellate court or by the High Court when exercising its power of revision. Then there are offences by companies. So whenever an offence under this Act has been committed by a company, every person who at the time the offence was committed was in charge of or was responsible by the company for the conduct or the business of the company, as well as the company, shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence and shall be liable to be proceeded against and punished accordingly. So office bearers of the company as well as the company can be, say, convicted, provided that nothing contained in this subsection shall render any such person liable to any punishment under this Act if he proves that the offence was committed without his knowledge and that he exercised all due diligence to prevent the commission of such offence. So some office bearers can be exempted under this. Notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, where an offence under this Act has been committed by a company and it is proved that the offence has been committed with the consent and or connivance of or is attributable to any neglect or on the part of any director, manager, secretary or other officer of the company, such director, manager, secretary or other officer shall also be deemed to be guilty of the offence and shall be liable to be proceeded against and punished accordingly. So company means any body corporate and includes a firm or other association of individuals, and director in relation to a firm means a partner in the firm. That completes chapter 5, and then we come to the last chapter, that is miscellaneous. So firstly, sanction of central government for warehousing of arms. So notwithstanding anything contained in the Customs Act 1962, no arms or ammunition shall be deposited in any warehouse licensed under section 58 of that Act without the sanction of the central government. Then we come to 35, criminal, where any arms or ammunition of which any offence under this Act has been or is being committed or is found in any premises, vehicle or other place in the joint occupation or under the joint control of several persons, each of such persons in respect of whom there is a reason to believe that he was aware of the existence of the arms or ammunition in the premises, vehicle or other place shall, unless the contrary is proved, be liable for that offence in the same manner as if it has been or is being committed by him alone. So there is criminal liability of persons who are in occupation of premises. Then information to be given regarding certain offences. So every person aware of the commission of any offence under this Act shall, in the absence of, this is similar to 39 of CRPC, shall in the absence of reasonable excuse, the burden of proving which shall lie upon such person, give information of the same to the officer in charge of the nearest police station or the magistrate having jurisdiction. So this is duty of the public to inform the police. Every person employed or working upon any railway, aircraft, vessel, vehicle or other means of conveyance shall, in the absence of reasonable excuse, the burden of proving which shall lie upon such of the nearest police station regarding any box, package or bill in transit which he may have reason to suspect contains arms or ammunition in respect of which an offence under this Act has been or is being committed. This is the liability of the persons in case of vehicles. Then arrest and searches. So save as otherwise provided in this Act, all arrest and searches made under this Act or any other rules made thereunder shall be carried out in accordance with the provisions of CRPC. Relating respectively to arrest and searches made under that code, and any person arrested and any arms or ammunition seized under this Act by a person not being a magistrate or a police officer shall be delivered without delay to the officer in charge of the nearest police station, and that officer shall, this is similar to powers of public to arrest, like in say 44 of CRPC, either release that person on his executing a bond with or without sureties to appear before a magistrate and keep the things seized in his custody till the appearance of that person before the magistrate, or should that person fail to execute the bond and to furnish, if so required, sufficient sureties, produce that person and those things without delay before the magistrate. Then all of these acts shall be cognizable within the meaning of CRPC. That means arrest without warrant can be done. Previous sanction of the district magistrate necessary in certain cases. So no prosecution shall be instituted against any person in respect of any offence under section 3 without the previous sanction of the DM. Then protection of action taken in good faith. So no suit, prosecution or other legal proceeding shall lie against any person for which anything which is in good faith done or intended to be done under this Act. Then power to exempt. Now some exemptions are done in this Act. So where the central government is of the opinion that it is necessary or expedient in the public interest so to do, it may by publication in the official gazette and subject to such conditions, if any, as it may specify in the notification exempt any person or class of persons, either generally or in relation to such description of arms or ammunition as may be specified in the notification, or exclude any description of arms or ammunition, or withdraw any part of India from the operation of all or any of the provisions of this Act. So specified arms or specified areas can be withdrawn, and as often as may be, cancel any such notification, and again subject by like notification the person or class of persons or the description of arms and ammunition or the part of India to the operation of such provisions. So this power to exempt lies with the central government. Then power to take census of firearms. So central government may by notification in the official gazette direct a census to be taken of all firearms in any area and empower any officer of government to take such census. And on the issue of any such notification, all persons having in their possession any firearm in that area shall furnish to the officer concerned such information as he may require in relation thereto, and shall produce before him such firearms if he so requires. That means there is power to take census of firearms. This lies with the central government. Then power to delegate. So central government may by notification in the official gazette direct that any power or function which may be exercised or performed by it under this Act other than the power under section 41 or the power under section 44 may, in relation to such matters and subject to such conditions if any, as it may specify in the notification, be exercised or performed also by such officer or authority subordinate to the central government, or such state government or such officer or authority subordinate to the state government as may be specified in the notification. And any rules made by the central government under this Act may confer powers or impose duties or authorize the conferring of powers or imposition of duties upon any state government or any officer or authority subordinate thereto. So central government can delegate to state government also. Then power to make rules. These are rule making powers under which rules have been made. Now latest rules are Arms Rules 2016 that are in force. So central government may, by notification in the official gazette, make rules for carrying out the purposes of this Act, and in particular and without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing power, such rules may provide for all or any of the following matters, namely, wherever the word prescribed appeared in this Act. So the appointment, jurisdiction, control and functions of licensing authorities, including the areas and categories of arms and ammunition for which they may grant licenses. The form and particulars of application for the grant and renewal of license, and where the application is for the renewal of a license, the time within which it shall be made. The form in which and the conditions subject to which any license may be granted or refused, renewal, varied, suspended or revoked. Then where the period has been specified in this Act, the period for which any license shall continue to be in force. The fees payable in respect of any application for the grant or renewal of a license, and in respect of any license granted or renewed, and the manner of paying the same. The manner in which the maker's name, the manufacturer's number, or other identification mark or a firearm or ammunition shall be stamped or otherwise shown thereon for the purposes of tracing. And for the purpose of this clause, tracing means the systematic tracking of firearms and ammunition from manufacturer to purchaser for the purpose of detecting, investigating and analyzing illicit manufacturing and illicit trafficking. That means there could be serial number, etc. The procedure for the test or proof of any firearms, and the firearms that may be used in the course of training, the age limits of persons who may use them, and the conditions for their use by such persons. And the authority to whom appeals may be preferred under section 18, the procedure to be followed by such authority, that is for rejection of license, and the period within which appeals shall be preferred, the fees to be paid in respect of such appeals, and the refund of such fees. The maintenance of records or accounts of anything done under a license other than a license under section 3 or section 4, the form of and the entries to be made in such records or accounts, and the exhibition of such records or accounts to any police officer or to any officer of government empowered in this behalf. And the entry and inspection by any police officer or by any officer of government empowered in this behalf of any premises or other place in which arms or ammunition are, or is manufactured, or in which arms or ammunition are, or is kept by manufacturer of or dealer in such arms or ammunition, and the exhibition of the arms same to such officer. The conditions subject to which arms or ammunition may be deposited with a licensed dealer or in a unit armory as required. Armory is for army persons. As required by subsection 1 of section 21, and the period on the expiry of which the things were deposited may be forfeited. It could be even for other, say, Navy, Air Force, etc. Any other matter which is or to be or may be prescribed. then every rule made under this section shall be laid as soon as may be. This is the procedure for Parliament. As soon as may be after it is, where it is in session for a total period of 30 days, which may be comprised in one session or in 2 or more successive sessions. And if before the expiry of the session, immediately following the session or the successive sessions aforesaid, both houses agree in making any modification in the rule, or both houses agree that the rule should not be made, the rule shall thereafter have effect only in such modified form or be of no effect, as the case may be. So, however, that any such modification or annulment shall be without prejudice to the validity of anything previously done under that rule. So, this is the rule making procedure. Now, this act does not apply to certain cases. So, nothing in this act shall apply to arms or ammunition on board any sea-going vessel or any aircraft or forming part of the ordinary armament or equipment of such vessel or aircraft. The acquisition, possession, or carrying the manufacturer, repair, conversion, test, or proof, the sale or transfer of the import, export, or transport of arms or ammunition by or under the orders of the central government, or by public servant in the course of his duty as such public servant, or by member of the National Cadet Corps, that is NCC, who are authorized, say, raised and maintained under the NCC Act 1948, or by any officer or enrolled person or the Territorial Army, raised and maintained under the Territorial Army Act 1948, or by any member of any other forces raised and maintained, or that may hereafter be raised and maintained under any central act, or by the any member of such other forces as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify in the course of his duty as such member, officer, or enrolled person. So these people or say categories are exempted, and act does not apply to them. Any weapon of an obsolete pattern or of antiquarian value or in disrepair, which is not capable of being used as a firearm, either with or without repair. The acquisition, possession, or carrying by person of minor parts of arms or ammunition which are not intended to be used along with complementary parts acquired or possessed by that or any other person. So spare parts may be allowed in some cases. And the last section, the previous Arms Act is repealed of 1878. So the Indian Arms Act, Indian because it was made by the British Parliament, is hereby repealed, and notwithstanding repeal of Indian Arms Act 1878 and without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 6 and 34 of the General Clauses Act 1897. So saving clause is given here. Every license granted or renewed under the first mentioned act and in force immediately before the commencement of this act shall, unless sooner revoked, continue in force after such commencement for the unexpired portion of the period for which it has been granted or renewed. So this was type of, say, we may say, transitory provision. So that concludes this. So thank you all for patient listening. If there are any questions, I'm stopping sharing.
Thank you, Virendra Kumarji. Both were wonderful sessions. Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and share your feedback. Or if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the presentation, but I'm very sorry if the question may not sound right because I've joined a little bit late. So I wanted you to just it's not really a question, but just an appeal. I want you to just give a little summary of the objective of the presentation today.
Well, this first presentation was related to Real Estate Regulation Act, RERA, that is for builders and urban planning. The second presentation is relating to Arms Act, that is for having the restrictions on arms, because in India, we do not have, say, this privatization like in case of USA. Here, some things are managed by private sector and some things are managed by the government. So for government ammunition, that is for Army, Navy, and Air Force, we have three different acts, that is Army Act, Navy Act, and Air Force Act. And we also have ordnance factories. We do the, say, production of armaments for the military. For other than military purposes, where we have say private persons who require some security. So based on the threat perception, private public is also allowed to carry maximum up to 2 firearms, and there are certain restrictions. So these are under supervision of the district magistrates. So in more than 700 districts, the district magistrates are empowered to issue licenses, and anything that is unlicensed, because that can be misused. So whenever such offenses are found, so there is severe punishment, having up to say life imprisonment, and in case of say murder, there could be punishment up to death also under this Arms Act. So it is one of the very important minor criminal law, that is other than the Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, and Evidence Act. This Arms Act is also very important, and there are several convictions under this, and because of this, and of course different states have got different situations in India. So there are different areas or different types of licenses that can be specified under this act. So I hope I have answered your question. Sir, you are muted, sir. Please, you may unmute again.
Yeah, hope it is answered. See, cities, when we are talking about cities, as rightly pointed out by Virendra Kumarji, see, we are talking about holistic cities development. It not only just includes the development, physical or geographical, demographical development, but also the environmental aspects, health aspects, security aspects, all aspects of development. It not only just limited to infrastructure, but also the health and well-being of the dwellers of the city. So this is this presentation focused on the kind of gun culture or arms culture which is widely prevalent. So this is an international platform. So we are also looking at various perspectives, how it is there in other countries, and how, because every presenters are free to choose their topic and area of their focus. So it is addressing the context in India, the legal acts or laws, rules and regulations pertaining to this safety and security, and also position of arms and ammunition by the people. So hope that has answered your query, Chester.
Yes, sure. I appreciate his answer, and I also have another question too, because the discussion
Please go
here
ahead.
is the discussion here is based in like in India. So I don't know whether it is somehow applicable to other countries like Liberia, where I'm from, my country Liberia. So I don't know what is the benchmark for measuring these acts of laws. Is it only limited to India, or is international, international laws and that?
Well, territorial jurisdiction is only up to India, but as far as the foreigners or foreign visitors are there, so those because the laws are different in different countries and implementation of international laws is difficult. So here such arms are say allowed for their personal safety or security. So under the intimation to the government, they are permitted to carry such firearms, say for sports or recreation or such purposes. So that may be permitted to an extent, and it is not say wholly banned. But if without disclosure somebody say uses that, then there could be punishments to foreigners also. As far as extraterritorial jurisdiction is concerned, countries also have these different types of treaties or conventions, and generally the criminal offenses for that purpose, whenever say offender escapes from one country to another country, so at that time, these criminal offenses, criminal means not related to religious or political offenses, because religious and political offenses could be specific for a country and they may not be recognized worldwide. But as far as criminal offenses are concerned, so most of the countries cooperate in enforcing their laws. And in such cases where it is a criminal offense, so the laws of other countries are also respected, and based on that, these types of restrictions may or may not be there. Because in USA we see there are so many, say, incidents where there is, say, firing in schools, or say some person say does say wildfire and many people are killed. In India also we have sometimes accidents like celebratory firearm, where there are, say, marriage processions, and in that, by accident or while cleaning, there could be accidents in homes also, and also some people get killed. So these are, say, prosecuted under the Arms Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The question is clear.
Thank you, Chester, for joining us all the way from Nigeria, Africa, and being active participant. And anyone else have any other queries? You can feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, please, for the benefits of we that came late, I don't know what plans were set in place for the presentation, whether it will be sent in the WhatsApp group chat and all the necessary information, at least for further references.
Yeah, the link has been shared in the chat box. You can visit the website. All the information is available on the website and is being periodically updated from time to time. Certificates also will be updated in due course of time. So you can check the website. All the information is there regarding WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups and even Google groups. So we have created multiple platforms because some are not available in some platforms. Some users are not in some platforms. So based for their convenience, we have multiple platforms where you can receive updates and information. You can also, based on your expertise, you can also make presentations, and you can participate daily, irrespective of number of participants or presentations. We have a lot of commemorations that are happening on a daily basis. You can join and enjoy the presentations and participation.
Okay. So, what about the e-certificate?
Yeah,
is there any
e-certificate? That's what I told you just now. There is a website link. You can go there. In a week's time, we will update. So maximum time is 15 working days. So you can just check within a week's time if it is updated. Otherwise, you can wait for 15 working days and then you can make a certificate request on the website. All the details are there on the website. You can visit and go through different sections we have completely provided. So you can visit and check. Apart from that, any query related to session?
No, all is clear for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So for any other related queries, you can always visit website. All the website is so comprehensive, everything in detail. So you can go there, read through it, and you can find all the information there. And hope there are no further queries on this. So I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this UN World Cities Day, because the cities are growing rapidly, and it is for the, and we are also facing the crisis, climate crisis, and also apart from that, we have a lot of challenges. See, cities are being flooded recently. In recent years, we see even the metropolitan cities like Chennai, Trivandrum, Kerala, and also even Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore are getting flooded due to rains. Even a small rain is causing a lot of flooding, and there are a lot of disasters that is happening. Groundwater levels are getting depleted, and there are huge traffic jams that are happening in the cities. So these are all challenges as part of the urban planning or urban development, cities development. And the huge concentration of population density, as we are seeing, almost the population density in urban areas is around 50 to 65%, depending on the cities. And the more the concentration, we have a lot of challenges like the solid waste management, sewerage management, water management. And apart from that, again, we have a lot of environmental related issues. Again, pollution, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. And apart from that, we have congestion that is happening. And a lot of issues, challenges are there. We need to address them. And the surrounding areas are also getting affected. That is also a major concern. At the same time, we need to focus on development, but it should be sustainable development. That is the point where we are today, trying to create awareness on basic concepts. And as these are commemorations from the United Nations and its member institutions, we are maximum utilizing the resources from the United Nations and United Nations member organizations, because they are the authentic source for the information, and these are morely focused on creating awareness so that our participants, our presenters, and our stakeholders can take informed decisions whenever they are taking up some activity or whenever they are practicing in their lifestyle, so that we can take informed decision. Whether when we are eating something, we should know where that food is coming from and how much resources are going in producing that food, so that we can take informed decision where to buy, what to buy, how much to buy, how much to prepare, and how much to consume, what kind of food to consume. That will help the environment, and that will help towards sustainable development, and also towards health, well-being of the humans and other living and non-living beings on the planet. That's how cities, especially where there is a huge density of population, can sustain in the long run. Otherwise, a lot of issues will come up over a period of time. So without taking much more time, because it's already 9 o'clock. So I thank each one of you for joining us on this. So we are launching the feedback form for this event. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, and we thank all the presenters for the day who have contributed through their presentations, especially Virendra Kumarji for both the presentations. It was very much nice and related, very much pertinent also, because safety and security is also a most important aspect. So we thank you, and we wish you all the success and look forward for more sessions in the future. Thank you once again, sir, and thank you everyone for joining us. And before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. In a week's time, the certificates will be updated. You can check the website. If they are not updated, then you can wait for 15 working days, and then you can make a request on the using any of the methods mentioned on the website. Those who have not registered, you can register with the registration form. The link has been already shared in the chat box. We will be sharing it once again. The feedback form has been launched. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory because it is through these forms the data is collected and the system automatically picks up the data and it's generate the certificates. So we request everyone to fill all the details. Sometimes not providing some or partial or invalid data, system rejects the form and certificates may not be generated. And almost every Sunday from now onwards, we have a seminar that is being organized because we are coming to an end of the series by January mostly. We'll see if any days we have missed in between. We will add the days also to that. So mostly by January ending or by February ending, we'll be closing this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series and also the India's G20 presidency series. And we'll continue with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals series will be there because till 2030 we have that. We'll be organizing when there is a requirement or occasional. We'll see if we can continue daily. Otherwise, whenever there is an important commemoration, we'll continue to have as per the feasibility. So the registration forms have been already circulated, the universal registration forms for the past events, present events, and upcoming events. Those who have missed to complete the formalities, they can complete the formalities before December or January as early as possible, because once we start processing, again taking up will be a difficult task. So we will be waiting as early as possible. We request you to inform your friends also, those who have joined but could not complete the formalities. They can also join and complete. Daily 6 to 8 with the same link you can join. Daily we have programs, and for every day certificate is provided you complete the registration, have minimum attendance, participate, and then provide feedback, because this is automatic system is generating. So system will automatically generate certificates and put it in Google Drive, and that Drive link will be shared on the website. We are also manually intervening also, because we see a lot of discrepancies in data while entering, and also mismatch of data that is happening because system exactly, the program follows exactly as it is written, instructed to do so. So we are facing certain challenges in that. But in spite of that, we are putting our best efforts within the limited resources. And we are always there to help you. but it's only the time constraint. We are also in the process of updating the participants' data on the website on each page. So that process will also begin soon. So if you don't remember whether you have participated or not, you can check the website. And if you have participated, you can apply for the certificate. Here, actually, we thought earlier to put time also, but many times again, it will not look good someone who are not attending for a full time. So that's why we dropped this idea earlier also. We thought many times, but again, so recently also we thought that we should not put time, because for some people, those who are not attending full time, it can also be a concern for them. So we are just putting the names as per the Zoom reports that are generated by Zoom. So, and we will be removing from that list, we'll be removing these names which are logged in with the device name, because it doesn't make sense if we have like Samsung or Motorola or iPhone. So it doesn't look good also. So as long as there is some regional name that is appearing, so we are putting, even if they are joining also, for even 1 minute also, we are putting their name on the website, all those who have joined. But that doesn't mean that they are all eligible for the certificates. Eligibility criteria remains the same. No, minimum, at least average you have to attend. It is 50 to 65%. In some cases, we have given those in some instances where we have mentioned there is no minimum eligibility criteria there. We have ensured that at least if you are attending some 20 to 30 minutes, in fact, the minimum baseline we have kept is 30 minutes, and based on the average time, because it's not 100% as it's based on the total number of participants, and we have taken an average time. That's why many others are also getting benefited. So anyway, at the end of the day, we want to appreciate you for your valuable time and resources. We'll continue to do so, but we also have time limitations. But we will ensure that everyone, whoever has spent quality time on this platform, are provided with enough gratitude from the platform. So do continue, keep attending, keep presenting, and these are the last days. So maximum utilize all the benefits. Thank you, everyone, once again. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. After filling up the feedback form, you may leave the platform.